Hello and welcome to Scrapping on the Fly. My name is Kristen and I am here with something a little different. Um, I am going to post a video about some tips and tricks and ways that you can scrap a lot of pages in a short amount of time that don't look like they didn't take you that long. So, I have a set of pictures from one event, a wedding we went to for a friend of my husband's, and I determined that I was going to have at least 8 or 9 layouts. And so I just thought that I would give some tips on how to gather your things together, kind of like a kit, but not really. I mean, I pull from my stash when the mood hits me, but it's just kind of some tips on how you can go with the simple to the drastic, but get things done kind of quick, but it doesn't look like it. So, at least in my opinion, they are not pro tips. I am far from a pro. I have been scrapbooking for over 25 years, but I have just recently gotten into a lot of these kinds of things. So these are things that I've just kind of picked up on my own or from multiple YouTubers or friends that also scrapbook. So here we go. So I have completed half of the layouts for this wedding set. So this is the first one that I completed, and there is lots of fussy cutting on here, but other than the fussy cut flowers, this is literally a scrap piece of this paper that I cut in half, a scrap piece of this paper that I cut in half, and a base page. And then I backed it and then matted my pictures, all in the same book. That is my number one tip, is if you can find a paper pad or collection, and I know a lot of people do this. I have never been a kit or brand person. I buy what I like. This I bought honestly because it was on clearance. I did love the colors, but this is not my typical. You're gonna laugh when I say this. I don't normally do flowers. And 4 of these layouts are chock covered in flowers. Then there's, some other ones that have some floral in them as well. So, but I went ahead and bought it because it was on clearance. It was only $5.50. And I did like the colors. Plus, this is cardstock, and I love that because then you don't have to have a base page. If it's the thinner paper, you got to put it on a base. So this is called Floral Geo. It's by the Paper Studio. Like I said, it was clearance, and there were 60 sheets in here. So there's 3 of everything, which makes this the perfect book or type of book for this kind of thing. So like I said, 8 to 10 layouts. I think I said 8 to 9, and it's probably going to stay there. Unless they end up sending like a picture and a thank you card or something, I may end up making another page later. So, but this is a perfect thing. It's got a page or 2 or 4 that you can fussy cut if you want. It has lots of good pages that are good for the back that aren't super busy. And then lots of things that you can use like for fussy cutting if you want, or just for matting or strips. So those are the things that I love to look at, and this is something new that I've just started doing. I've always been a piece from here, a piece from there. I've never been a kit or a set person. So this is my first thing, is to find a kit or to find a paper pad. And this to me is the cheapest thing, because buying kits sometimes are $25–30, and I just, I like to scrapbook so much, and I like to have my variety, so I can't buy $25 kits for every occasion or whatever. Plus, this is for a wedding. This could be for birthdays. This could be for everyday life. This could be for anything. It's not specific. So this is the book that I'm using, and everything so far that I've used in the first pages that I've done has come completely from here, paper-wise. I have not used even base pages, I don't think, or not base pages, but like matte solids. I'm pretty sure everything I've used so far has come out of here. The other tip I have is I keep my scraps while I'm working with this layout set. I keep all my scraps right here in this paper pad, so that if I come in here and need a mat, or if I need something to fussy cut, or if I just need a strip to do something like I did on my first page, they're all right here. I don't care how big they are. Itty bitty, you know, to bigger. And then this one, you'll see in a minute, I cut, oops, the scallops off of here. So whatever it is, I keep it inside here, and this stays out typically or right near where I'm working. So there is that tip. So the other thing that I have a tip about is fussy cutting. I am not a fan. I have carpal tunnel. I work in an office and have pretty much all of my working life. And so carpal tunnel is definitely a problem for me. So I do not necessarily like fussy cutting. However, I have found if I listen to music or listen to something like on YouTube while I'm doing it, it goes quicker. It's something you don't have to necessarily watch because, you know, you don't want to cut your finger off. So the other thing that I really have started doing is I am not an anal fussy cutter. So this is my little cup of what I fussy cut from this book. And I just did all of these while listening to a 20-minute musical type video. So like on here, you can, this is what I mean, like I'm not an anal. There's a bunch of, this is the background paper, is that blue. And there's still a bunch of it in there. And I don't, that's okay. Because this is going on a page that is not blue. And so it will stand out a little better. Especially, it's almost like you've matted your florals. I cut a little closer on the bigger pieces and not on the thinner ones, because if you cut too close, then you're gonna lose, it's gonna be so flimsy, it's not gonna fit. Now, I definitely do cut some things down exactly to where there's no, I'm trying to find one because I haven't done a lot of that lately. Some of these smaller ones, I do cut to where there's no outline. But typically, if I'm cutting these bigger florals, I will leave a little border around, and I'm okay with that. It doesn't have to be exact, in my opinion. Total my opinion. Somebody might think, oh no, if I cut off part of the leaf, I've got to throw it away. If I cut part of the leaf off, who's going to know that? I mean, like I've trimmed it down and cut a tip off accidentally, or in cases like this one, it's from a side piece, so there's no, it doesn't finish here. This is the next flower blooming out. Well, you know, these can be tucked and covered. I mean, now you see that, but you have no clue that this side has no coverage, but you're still getting that filler. So that is one tip. So these are the different things, and I've cut full pieces and I've cut partial pieces. I cut the little stems and flowers. I cut like this one that I showed you that's, you know, missing this part, but you know, that tucks and then nobody knows it's missing. So that is, this is more fussy. This is more cut. Like this is the way I will lay it on the page. Now I may have to go in and trim a little as I put it down if it doesn't look right, but I can do that. Now I have this little cup. And these are pieces like this that I haven't cut at all, except I just fussy cut, like this flower is ready to be fussy cut if I need it. So it's, you know, not a big piece, because I had all these little straggly pieces that were not much bigger than this. So I cut a bunch of them, the last piece of paper down to where now all I gotta do is go in. If this is the perfect fit, I can just go in and trim it down a little. So I just do that as an extra, because I don't want to have to keep these little side pieces in my book. So I just cut those to where they're ready to be trimmed down, and I can go in and, like, this whole thing is connected in ways, but I don't have to keep it that way. If I just want this yellow and this stem or this stem, just cut it off. That doesn't mean you can't use these on something else if you want. You know, it's your book, it's your layout. You do what you want with it. And if you are super particular and you don't want any of the bordering background paper, that's totally fine. If you hate fussy cutting and even this easier way of doing it is just not your thing, that's okay too. You can buy embellishments that are pre-cut. I've got plenty of those. I just wanted to incorporate the paper pad as best as I could. And since I had a bunch of fussy cut flowers already, these pages went together in minutes when after the fussy cutting was over. And this cup right here, I'm pretty sure I watched about a 20 to 25 minute video and cut all these and trim these out. So, okay, so this is the layout, the first layout I did. This is us on our way to the wedding. Like I said, base page from the book, 2 scrap pieces of paper that were left over from another page I did, just cut it straight down the middle. These were itty bitty little scraps from where I had fussy cut some stuff. I just added that for some extra texture and dimension. Well, not dimension, it's not coming up off of the page, but just some extra color. It pulls the white that's all over here into this, incorporates, it's the same paper that this is matted on. Adding dimension totally makes your page pop. Adding little bits like this that aren't part of the little cluster brings dimension to the whole, brings, the whole page together. So this one, like I said, probably once the fussy cutting was over, 10 to 15 minutes. Super, super simple, and I love the way this turned out. This one was also another super simple page. I already had some of the flowers cut out. I took this paper and just cut, and not perfectly. You can look close enough, it doesn't, not even all that close, and see that it is not a beautiful cut. I am terrible with the scissors, but I kept it in that pink because that was the most important part. Exit right there. I just put this here as like a shelf for my pictures, matted them on one paper that matches this back. Well, the whole thing matches, but it's the same shade of peachy pink red color here. Matte, and then put this pink here. So it makes this stand out, but it still brings it all together. And then of course the florals. And then I just added these did not come from the paper pad, and neither did these little butterflies right here. But other than that, and then my titles have been pulled from one sticker sheet so far. So this one says You and I, and then it says On a Road Trip at the bottom. This one says Now and Forever, and this is while we were at the service waiting. And I just put this on foam. It's just fun foam from Walmart, and that way this stands out. Even though, our picture together is more of a focal point, this was like my artistic picture that I took. So it just gives some dimension. Added this to some foam to this one, and of course this little butterfly dragonfly has some dimension on it as well. But this is a super, super simple, another 10-15 minute layout once the fussy cutting is completed. This one, I was challenged on scrapbooking with AnnMarie.com to do a simple dress down or a busy dressed up page. This is my dress down. It is literally a base page, 2 matted pictures on the exact same mat, one of the florals, 1 strip that I cut in half, so it was like about this wide. I cut it in straight down the middle, and then just tucked it in here behind. Added a heart that has got some puffy on it already, and added some little white roses, and that is it. And then my sticker that says I love you. That is all I put on here. I still think this page is beautiful, and it took me minutes to complete, but I love it, and I think it fits in because it brings all the same papers in, and it has the same type of title, and like I said, these papers will all be brought in all throughout. So, and then I put the white roses. It was something different because they matched these white roses. So super, super simple. So as of right now, other than the fussy cutting, those 3 pages took me less than an hour. This is my wow page. I used stickles, which are actually off-brand stickles, which is why I used them, because I realized I bought them at the dollar store. So it's really just glitter glue. And they do not, when you do the little dot, like you do with stickles, or like I do, it does not hold its form. It just ends up being like a little dot of glitter, which is fine if you know you're doing that. So I decided I would try them through a dollar store stencil. This is paper from the paper pad, and I put them on here after I had already matted on the white stripe paper. So I wanted these pictures to stand out against the dark blue and the yellow. So I went ahead and matted them on the striped paper, put them down. I did not tack, I only tagged it in the middle so that I could tuck. And then I put these two hearts down, let them sit and dry for, I think I did it, finished it later on that night. And then I just took all the fussy cutting that I had completed already and just tucked them in everywhere. I mean, a lot of fussy cutting. And just, I mean, these pictures are not fancy. This is the different specialty drinks at the wedding. This is my cup when I was done with it, and this bee decided it wanted the remnants of my amaretto sour. I can't blame it. It was good. So I, you know, the hearts are pretty. They're very muted. They're not like boom in your face. And then I just stuffed all the things. And when I ran out and still had some space, I cut some more. This took me about an hour only because of the fussy cutting. If I had already had them all fussy cut, it probably would have taken me 30 minutes because of all the placement. Now, bigger flowers, I use double-sided tape. Smaller flowers, I use a liquid glue, and that's it. And then I got three different colors, two pinkish colors, and I think one's abandoned coral. I can't remember the other one is. And then I also got wild honey. So there, even though the paper is yellow, I went ahead and put the wild honey on here, and it helps, you know, it just comes in different places, especially when it hits in those floral bits. And I just really love that. And I love to cover parts of the picture if there's nothing that it's covering. So this wasn't covering anything, so I brought all this floral in here, and of course used the same type of label, or for the title, it says I adore you. I do. The drink was delicious. And then I was able to add these little bees, and this is 3 bee stickers. This is a cut in half, and here's the rest of it. If you are short on stickers, which I do not have that problem, that I hate wasting, cut them in half. If you got a circle and you need it to be on 2 sides, cut it in half. And a lot of what my tips are things that you probably already know. I do not think, you know, I know everything, but those are things that I do all the time. I'll do it with stickers, I'll do it with paper, I'll do it with embellishments, doesn't matter. And then I just added this little I love you at the bottom, because it brought the color, it all goes together with the color. And I think I just love the way this page turned out. So there is that. So now we're up to about an hour and a half, and we got 4 pages done. And then I have this one. While that one was drying, I completed this page. And so this one, another super simple. It has 2 base pages, or 2 base mats that are different, contrasting with the dark blue and the peachy pink. But the peachy pink is in here. And then I bring this peachy pink and this darker pinkish red that's in here, as well as all this blue and the colors here, in with the florals. And then I didn't even mat the pictures other than on this base back here, and then just tucked the flowers that I had cut. Added another little word phrase here that says forever. This was our meal, and then they had a cookie table, and so I titled the page Dreams Come True, because it was a table full of cookies, homemade cookies by friends and family of the bride and groom. Come on now. So there is that. Still 100% the paper pad that I have showed you. All right, so what I have now is 4 more layouts to complete the series of what ends up being 9 layouts completely. So I am using all papers from the Floral Geo paper pad. These fussy cut flowers, and then this is a bin with my hearts that I keep in there, and then I added in there any wedding things that I had in my stash, which I really don't use many of, because, well, most of them are like geared around the bride and groom, and I don't have a lot of bride and groom pictures, just one groom picture. Long story short, I only know the groom barely. My husband knows him. We don't know the bride, and there was never really a good time for me taking pictures of them. So this layout I'm about to work on is a layout with the military table of the fallen soldiers, and then I have the groom, and my husband, and then some scenery pictures and the invitation. So I am going to live scrap this page that you're looking at now with the 2 pictures from the military table with those 3 base papers. I've decided to use the pink and white stripe because I felt like that was the best way to bring in a military feel with pastel and navy blue. So with the pink and white stripe, pink is the same color wheel as red, which and then that navy blue has those little things on it, look like stars. So that sticker sheet there is what I've made my titles with. Every page has one of those on there, and that's part of or all of my title. So I cut down this navy blue paper, and I made one that was 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 for one of the pictures. And then I'm going to pull a floral navy blue based page, and I'm going to cut it down as well to 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 and mat that as well. And then I'm going to double mat them on that yellow paper. That way the navy blue stands out on that yellow, and then it'll be backed on that other navy blue page that has the star-like symbols on them. It's like little plus signs or something. So this layout came together in less than 20 minutes, and I did have to do some fussy cutting, and I'm trying to think if there's anything else that got in the way, but I did finish it in 20 minutes, and I really love the way that it turned out. I then completed 3 more pages in less than 2 hours, altogether 2 hours. Between all 4 pages were done in a matter of 2 hours. I also talked to my mom for 40 minutes. I did some fussy cutting while I was talking to her. Got my kid in bed, so it probably would have been closer to an hour and a half had I not had any other things going on. So I put some tape in the middle so that I can attach it to the page but still tuck things, and then I can go back later, and I do mostly off camera, go back later and put double-sided tape on the corners. And sometimes on these longer pieces, I also put them in the middle, like on the top and bottom in the middle. So I do the same thing with this one, the yellow page. I just put it in the middle because I'm not certain where I'm going to put my florals yet. But I like to have the ability to tuck, and I will realize afterwards that I want to tuck them in next to that picture on the right, and I did tape that down, so I have to pull that up. And then I usually just tuck a pair of scissors in there so that I can prop it up so it doesn't get reattached before I'm ready. So I just start pulling my florals out, and because the base page on the very back, or the base of the pictures, is that navy blue, I don't want too much navy blue right on there because I don't want it to disappear into that page. So anything that has a lot of navy blue, like the leaves and things, I tuck here on the yellow paper so that it stands out and brings that navy blue in to the top layer. So I just tuck, tuck, tuck on the side, then I tuck, tuck, tuck across the top. I do think that I had enough fussy cut to finish this layout, and then I think maybe 1 or 2 more layouts, and then I had to fussy cut a few more things. Nothing major. So it did not take me a terrible amount of time to get the tucking part, because you don't have to be super OCD about it. I mean, and I am OCD, so I'm saying that from someone who I can't handle having like the same color on top of each other. So I'll either ink the edges or I will tuck something else in between so that it helps break it up. There is a little leaf, I guess, that I tuck in towards the top left corner, and I will point it out and give you a little bit of a close-up, but the piece that I put on there is missing a piece, like it ends abruptly. So I need to make sure that it's covered, and I'll find a way to do that. Right now I'm finishing up my 3D embellishment that goes in the bottom corner of the right picture, and I just took one of the full florals, popped it up on some foam, and then tucked some of the nice leaves in. So now I am putting down a yellow ribbon. It's not the same color yellow as the paper. It is a bright yellow, so I didn't want to put that right next to the yellow paper, but it's pretty close, and I'm okay with that. A yellow ribbon is a sign of support for the military, and so I thought it was fitting on this page. So I just looped it up, put some foam in there so it would stay together, and I get that done. And then after I get that done, I want to do the title. So I use one of my stickers to complete the title, like I've been doing on every one of these layouts. And this one is titled, I Believe in Us. My husband is in the military, and so this table was really special to us, and so we've been through 3 deployments together, and so it's a pretty fitting title. But I also pull another sticker from a military sheet that says "Hoo-wah," which is a military thing. I try and put the title right there. It does not fit. It doesn't look right because there's foam on the ribbon, and I don't want it to be like extra deep or extra dimensional to where it's like making the page huge. So I end up tucking it at the bottom right corner. So then I find some patriotic hearts that are flags, but it's like a muted flag, and I just tuck them in all around in the floral pattern, and you really have to kind of look to see them, and maybe you'll see some of them in the close-up, but I just tuck about 6 of them in on the top and on the side. And then I also put one, I'm looking at it while I say this, I also tuck one into the cluster on the picture, the one that I did in the bottom right corner. I just tuck, it's like I said, a little flag. So I'm about to show you some close-ups because I'm done. Hope you all have a great night. I hope you get a chance to do something you love with someone you love. Happy scrapping.